Right, good day all. So moving ahead forward, um, Surah 39, Surah az-Zumar, right, meaning the groups, right, the groups, right. So interpretation, the groups, right, talking about groups. This could be a spiritual group, your friendship groups, your workplace groups, your situational groups, your family groups, um, class group, ethnic groups, whatever group you choose to identify with, is to sit and ask yourself, do I really in my authentic self fit into this group that I have identified with, or these groups, or these particular groups that I've identified with for my entire life, and for what reason, right? Is it because society is telling me that I need to identify with these groups for whatever reason, or society is drawing me, pulling me from my authentic and true self into these particular groups, and I really in my true nature do not feel a part of these groups, right? So this is helping people to come out of situations where it's helping people to come out of situations where they do not truly feel themselves, right? You do not truly feel themselves, you do not truly feel connected to your own inner self by virtue of being a part of particular groups that you belong to, right? Helping people to come out of these socially approved groups if you do not feel drawn or connected towards these groups within yourself, and for a period of time sit and reflect on, what do I really want, what do I truly value, right? What do I want, what do I truly value, who do I want to be around, what do I truly value, what is the true meaning of life, what is the true essence of life. So just taking some time out from the world, right? Just taking some time out mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, from the world that you know, right? And just drawing inward, at least for a period of time, right? And doing some inner philosophizing, right? What do I really want out of life? What is the meaning of life, right? Where do I want to take myself, right? What is the purpose of life? What is the meaning of the work that I do? What is the essence of anything at all in this thing that we call life, right? So the revelation of the book, which is the Quran, is from Allah, right? So that's just to be made known, right? As a point, the revelation of the book is from Allah, right? The exalted in might, the wise. The book has been sent down, so we are encouraged to be sincere to Allah in religion. The book identifies religion as faith, Faith, right? The book, the Quran, identifies religion as faith, right? Faith, right? So having faith is, right, is at least a big part, or it is the religion of Islam, right? So right, so Allah is the pure religion, right? So know that the book didn't say Islam is a pure religion even, right? The book didn't even say Islam is a pure religion. The book says Allah is a pure religion, right? Allah is a pure religion, right? If Allah had intended to take a son, he could have chosen from what he creates, from whatever he created, right? If he intended to take a son, right? So again, this is to drill this into people's consciousness, right? The idea, the false ideology that what Allah or God has taken a son, right? For God who so and so and so and so, right? That false ideology that Allah has taken a son, no, it is true, it is fact, it is correct that Allah loves all equally, right? Allah loves all equally. Allah give consequences to all, good and bad, equally. Allah does not favor one over the other in terms of I choose you to XYZ, right? And to hell with everybody else, right? In that regard, right? In terms of I choose this one person and this one person, right? If Allah wills, he could have taken a son, but he didn't, right? He didn't, right? He created the heavens and earth in truth, right? He wraps the night over the day and wraps the day over the night, and has subjected the sun and moon, each running its course, right, for a specified term. Unquestionably, he is the exalted and mighty, perpetual forgiver, right? So the book also talks about Allah, this chapter also talks about him driving people to hell in groups and all kind of thing, right? But at the same time, it talks about him being a perpetual forgiver, meaning that, as I was saying, right, opportunities will be granted in terms of just being a good person, right? Just, you don't have to do anything great and grand in this life to be a good person, right? You do not have to do anything great and grand in this life to be a good person, right? He created you from one soul, right? From one soul, meaning a supreme soul, right? So you were created from a supreme soul, meaning the God soul, the God essence, God soul, right? God essence, right? And you were created as a part of that, right? Right, if you disbelieve, Allah is free from the need of you, right? Allah is free of need, as mentioned many times in the book, right? He does not approve for his servants' disbelief, right? And if you are grateful, he approves, right? And Allah knows who is naturally grateful for that which they have. You don't always have to say, remember, and the book says remembrance is greater, right? Meaning you don't always have to say out loud or say, Lord, I am grateful, or God, I am grateful. Allah actually knows the hearts of people and knows who is actually grateful internally, how your heart is, what the condition of your heart is, meaning who is naturally grateful for that which they have, as I said, little or much, right? He approves, right. If you are grateful, he approves and likes it for you, right? No bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another. So that's what I was saying with regard to the concept of regard to other religions, where they say that one person will carry the sins of the entire world. It does not actually work like that, right? Right. So listen to speech and follow the best of it. Right, so the book is saying to listen to speech and follow the best of it. So you don't, and this is why I wanted to bring in the concept about my previous initiation when I was a child and so on, initiated into a particular religion and initiated by a particular spiritual teacher, and again it happened a repetition of it happened in 22. Another initiation happened outside of family and so on, and one happened within family. I want to make mention of this thing about initiation and initiating you or baptizing you. When parents baptize their children to follow a particular guru or follow a spiritual teacher, one particular guru, so on, right? And it is actually a wrong concept and a wrong thing to do based on my experience. I don't know if it works for others, but based on my life experience, which is vast, right? In terms of not vast in terms of me having experience all over the world and traveling and all that, but vast in terms of just life experience, right? It is actually wrong, right, from my understanding, to initiate somebody with one particular guru, spiritual teacher, and have that person spend their whole life following that teaching alone, right, and not listening to any other spiritual teachers or teachers on a whole, right? It is actually encouraged or advised that you take in information from diverse range of teachers, right? Diverse range of information or knowledge, right? And you wade your way through and navigate all that information or knowledge, right? To come to appropriate understanding of what you see, how you see the world, right? So that's why I do not agree with that concept of being initiated into a religion or initiated into way of being initiated into following one guru, right? Guru meaning a spiritual teacher or your personal spiritual teacher or your spiritual thing, right? And that is why he died, right? So moving on, right? So listen to speech, meaning listen to many and follow the best of it, right? Listen to many teachers, and you don't have to follow. You don't have to pick somebody and follow that one person only, right? If that one person resonates with you, that's beautiful, that's good, that's fine, right? But you are encouraged to still listen to the perspectives of others so that you come to pick pick apart, hey, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, how could this make sense, how could that make sense, until you actually come to understanding, and you will be here, there, and everywhere, until you come to our own inherent understanding of your alignment of self and how you see the world and your relationship with the world, spiritual and material, right? Listen to speech and follow the best of speech from all the teachers that you've listened to, right? Allah sent down the best statement, right? So ultimately you will realize after you've listened to everybody, right, Allah actually has the best statement, which is above all, right? Allah has sent down the best statement, a consistent book, which there's reiteration. Now the book, sometimes you will find contradictions, but the contradictions eventually reconcile themselves, right? The contradictions eventually, like I said, by the time you finish, read the book a few times, teach the book, right? You will be reconciled within yourself, and you will find that the book reconciles itself, right? And that's why it is taught that you should not rewrite the book, right? That's why it is taught, Taught, that, and it is God's taught, Allah's taught, that you should not rewrite the Quran, because the book eventually reconciles itself, right, regardless of the contradictions, right? And that's what we are aiming to, inner reconciliation, right? So skins shiver from those who actually fear consequences of the Lord, of God or Allah, and hearts and skins relax at the remembrance, and that's why we encourage the remembering of Allah, right? So help people to relax, right? Right, so the hope is that Allah removes you and I from the worst of what we did, meaning us in the world, humans in the world. May we be removed from the worst of what we did, and be rewarded for the best of what was done, right? To everybody, right? Whoever Allah guides, for him there is no misleader, right? Whoever is guided is for the benefit of your own soul, and whoever goes astray to its own detriment, right? Allah takes souls at the time of their death, and those that do not die he takes during their sleep, and he keeps those for which he has decreed death and releases the others for a specified term, right? So book talks about intercession, meaning praying for others, right? The book says that you should actually ask permission from Allah, right? Seek his permission before actually praying for others, right? I was never really a fan of that. People praying over me and those things, right? Because you don't know the intentions of how people pray, or what they pray, or how they pray, or whatnot, right? And that's why it is suggested that not everybody like people to pray for them or pray over them, or all those things, right? So that's like when people go to church and so on, and you have all these things taking place, and you line up for somebody to pray for you, and the person who is doing the praying for people should actually ask the permission of God or permission of Allah, right, to intercede into the life of somebody else, right? You don't do that on your own, but you have to seek the permission of Allah to intervene in that way into somebody else's life, right? Right. Right. So it is revealed to you that, and those before you, that if you should associate anything with Allah, right, your work would surely become worthless, right? So and this is a hard it's like this verse actually hit me like a ton of bricks, but it's true, right? The verse actually hit me like a ton of bricks, right? And it's actually one of the most hurtful verses in the book for me, right? But it's actually true, right? You associate any other entities, beings with Allah, right? Whether it be celebrities, right, in the material world, celebrities in the spiritual world, celebrities, whoever it is, people, persons, parents, friends, anything, right? You associate anything with Allah, right? And the work that you've done, regardless of how long you spend doing it, regardless of how much effort you put into it, regardless of how much heart and soul you put in it, regardless of whatever you have put into that work that you've done, it will eventually become meaningless, right? Once you associate or worship or give your all to anything other than Allah itself, right? So worship Allah only and be amongst the grateful. And I praise Allah with the true appraisal. And when I say I praise Allah, I don't mean anybody on earth. I mean Allah as in Allah who created all on earth, right? Every soul will be fully compensated for what it did. So peace be upon you, right? Whoever is watching this video, you have become amongst the pure. Right? Peace amongst you. Peace be among you and us all.